Okay, so for this review, I will be showing a very interesting piece of equipment for your airsoft needs. That is the DBoys 3-in-1 Airsoft Grenade Launcher. So let's begin with the externals. It is called the 3-in-1 Grenade Launcher because it comes with three barrel mounting attachments. The first is the Tokyo Marui under barrel mount. And the second is the Classic Army underbarrel mount, which I do not have here, but is very similar to the Tokyo Marui one. The third attachment, and possibly the most useful, is the Picatinny rail mount. This fits any 20mm rail system and uses two quick detach screws. To swap any of these mounts in and out, all you need to do is unscrew these Allen keys and switch to the desired mount. As far as the externals go on this replica, it is a full metal model, the only piece of plastic being the handguard, which it is on the real M203 grenade launcher, and it is very sturdy plastic. The barrel in this grenade launcher, I don't think you can see it, but it is rifled. It has fake rifling grooves, which is a nice touch for realism. And it has a simple safety system, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but whenever the safety is all the way forward, you cannot pull the trigger. There's a second position where your finger can go in but still cannot pull the trigger, and off, where you then can pull the trigger. Okay, so the internals of this attachment are very straightforward. If you open up the grenade launcher by pressing the slide release, it reveals the trigger mechanism, and all that happens whenever you pull the trigger is this firing pin goes forward, hitting the release valve on the grenade shell, and therefore ejecting the BBs down the barrel. As far as the barrel goes, it is just a hollow metal tube. As I said, it is rifled and slides pretty freely. It has this and this lip here to catch the grenade shell whenever you are ejecting it. And this works about half the time. I think they probably could have put a little bit more effort into it to get it just right, but it's nice whenever it does work. Whenever you shut the grenade launcher, it makes a nice snapping sound. Overall, the grenade launcher weighs in at about 3 pounds. This can be both a pro and a con, though, because if you have it mounted on an M4, say, or a SCAR, it gets very front heavy and weighs in on your arms a lot during longer games. If you put it on a bullpup rifle, like I do in my FAMAS, the gearbox being in the back of the rifle counterbalances the grenade launcher and gives it the perfect balance feel. So, let's take it down to the range and use an ICS 72 round grenade and put some rounds downrange. Alright, so as you guys can see, this thing has some pretty awesome power behind it. Loaded with about 50 BBs in the shell, at 10 yards, it got about a 6-foot spread on the BBs. It was actually hitting my cameraman. The accuracy test really didn't do it a justice. but once you get past 10 yards, it gets a little unrealistic hitting anything because of the low velocity of the BBs coming out. In a game, I wouldn't necessarily suggest this attachment because of the weight it adds to the gun. If you're playing CQB, I do suggest it, but it's only really going to be useful within about 10, maybe 15 yards of your target. It is definitely a cool attachment for the intimidation factor. There's nothing like being shot with 50 BBs at once, if not more. As far as realism goes, this attachment is very realistic. DBoys has outdone themselves. Compared to other M203 grenade launchers on the market, this one is very much lower cost at around $90, but it is still pricey for what you're getting in something that is just fun to play around with in the backyard. If you're seriously looking to get your gun better for an airsoft match, I suggest getting better internals for your gun rather than this attachment. But overall, with the full metal look and the realism and even its uses, it's very nice. If you have the spare money, I highly suggest it. Overall, I would give this attachment a 7 out of 10 rating because of its realism, but it is not realistic to use in a game, like I said. So, that's it, the DBoys 3-in-1 grenade launcher. Please subscribe, and until next time, signing off.